When I start getting burnt out on any kind of creative project, my natural tendency is to go back to what I already know, what I've already done before, so I don't have to come up with something new. So for example, with this series, on the days that I'm not feeling particularly motivated to create this week's episode, my natural tendency is to just do the same kind of stuff that I've done for the last few episodes that's worked pretty well and not try and come up with something new or do anything different. At first glance, to me, this seems like a good thing. I'm focusing my time and my effort on the things that I know will work out well because I've already done it before and it's worked out well in the past, as opposed to trying to do something new and experimental and risking creating something mediocre. But I've discovered if I stay in that mentality for too long and I keep doing the things I've already done and relying on consistency and not pushing myself to come up with something new, I will burn out even faster. The content I create will suffer in quality because I'll become even less motivated to create it, and eventually it'll just become stale and flat and boring. This is what is often referred to as plateauing, when you've spent some time rising up and building and building and building, and then at some point you just kind of hit your maximum and you keep coasting along without ever really building up, and eventually what we think will just stay consistent ends up dropping down in quality and becoming worse and worse. So it's very important to me with this series and with everything that I create that I'm constantly challenging myself to come up with something new, to try something that I haven't done before, to learn a new skill, to try a new technique, whatever it is. Because when I try to create new things I haven't done before, I open myself up to new opportunities, because there's always something that happens that I didn't expect, something that I didn't plan for, whether it's a problem that I didn't expect, or more often, some new crazy idea that I hadn't thought of before that occurred to me as I was working on this new thing. And that sort of stuff basically never comes when all I'm doing is the same stuff that I've done before. There's a quote that I really like that I can't quite remember word for word, but it's basically, if you do the same things you've always done, you'll get the same results you've always gotten. This week I gave myself 2 challenges for new things to try to work into this episode. The first one is learning how to do hyperlapses. If you've never heard of a hyperlapse, it's not a time lapse, that's something different. A time lapse is a video of a long period of time that's sped up. A hyperlapse is a little bit different. It's a series of photos taken usually from a bunch of different perspectives and then sequencing those photos together into all sorts of different perspective shifting shots. It's a really cool effect that I've been seeing a lot more people use recently, and Camrann, the guy who showed up a couple times in my videos, recently started doing it himself and was talking to me about it, so I really wanted to figure out how to start doing that myself. So him and I got together and did some hyperlapse stuff yesterday, and you'll see what we created in just a bit. The other challenge that I gave myself for this episode was in the montage that you're about to see, creating the music myself. The majority of what I'm focusing on in this series is my video work, but I'm a musician at heart as well. So for the sake of embracing a challenge and just trying something new, I threw together a song in Audio Tool. If you don't know what Audio Tool is, it's a great tool for just kind of creating electronic music and just stuff. If you like music creation or think you might, look at it, it's free. The hardest and saddest part of shooting hyperlapses is it takes an enormous amount of time to shoot and you only get a little bit of time out of the finished product. Each of those hyperlapses was only a handful of seconds. The one of the courthouse clock tower took over half an hour to shoot. The effect is achieved by setting up your camera, taking a photo, and then taking a step forward, and then setting up your camera, and then taking a photo, and then taking one more step forward, and over and over and over and over again all around your subject. And when your subject is a building, that takes a very, very long time. So for example, the one with the ring on the chain in that little workout area only took a few minutes, whereas the one of the courthouse or other buildings takes a lot longer. It's an effect that I want to get better at, so I just have to be willing to spend the time to practice it, even if it takes forever. That is what I've learned this week. I know this episode is a little bit shorter than normal, especially shorter than last week's episode, but that's how it goes. We are now into March, which is crazy to think about. We unfortunately didn't hit 100 subscribers in February, but that's okay. The point of setting a goal is to have something to shoot for, and we made really good progress. We are at 83 right now, which is significantly better than when we started February. So, great job everybody, woohoo. Please do subscribe if you're not already, and please continue to share my videos with friends or with other people that you think might like the series. Yeah, I guess that's it.